We all like to be prepared. We put in our practice time, don't we? We time out our transitions and tempos. We get familiar, even with old songs, but maybe this time in a new key. We work hard to be prepared because we don't like to be caught off guard. But if you have served in the worship ministry for almost any length of time at all, you probably know that regardless of your best intentions, mistakes will happen. Something won't work quite right, and you have to react. And I really like what Curtis Parks says in his book Soundcheck. He says, when it comes time to react, the truth will always come out. It's true. When it comes time to react to something, the truth will always come out. Many times, we can act the part. We can play the part. We can act like we know what we're doing. And sometimes our lack of preparation might be overlooked, or it might be covered up by something else in the music. We might be tempted to shrug our shoulders and say, oh, well, it's not that big a deal. I don't think anyone even noticed anyway. What I'd like to do is I'd like to try and offer just a little bit of perspective as it relates to what I believe is a healthy balance between acting and reacting. Acting and reacting. Obviously, if you're just acting like you're leading worship or prepared to lead worship, then you're not, of course, giving your best. And of course, we know that we're supposed to give our best to the Lord. Psalm 138:1 says that, I give you thanks, O Lord, with my whole heart. God is worthy of every ounce of devotion. He doesn't deserve half-hearted efforts. So the way we commit to practice, or even to making sure that we're at rehearsal on time, ready to go, these are ways that we demonstrate we're not just acting the part, but we're being devoted to the Lord with our whole heart. On the other hand, when things don't always work out the way that we plan, the way that we react is often an indication of what's truly in our hearts. I believe that our reactions are much truer expressions of who we really are than our actions. Let me see if I can give you an example of this. It just happened this last Sunday. We'd come out of a video clip. I was going to give just a quick word, and then we were going to be leading into the next song. The song led in with a piano hook. And we had practiced this transition. Everything was going very well. But in the moment of that service, the piano was supposed to begin, and I wasn't hearing the piano part. So I kind of looked over to make sure everything was okay. And sure enough, I get the look from our piano player like, we're dead over here. Nothing is working, and she can't explain it. So I thought, all right, well, I'll just start with my guitar, and we'll just keep this thing moving forward the best that we can. I played my guitar, and nothing was coming out of my guitar. And I thought, oh, no. Everything's dead. That's the first thought that entered my mind. So I kind of turned around. I could hear the electric guitar playing. I thought, okay, I know I've got electric. And so I look at the bass player. He starts to play. And okay, I got bass. And I look over at the acoustic player. I say, could you play a little bit for me? And he plays. And we got synth. I mean, everybody's in there, except for the piano and the guitar. And so I took out my in-ears and I talked to the sound tech and we addressed it. And eventually the keyboard came back on. She just restarted the thing and it all worked out just fine. Of course, it wasn't what we practiced, but our team knew how to react properly. They knew how to react properly. Now, this is not the first time that this kind of a thing has happened to me in leading worship, so I kind of knew how to react as well. And I just employed one of the rules that our staff employs all the time, which is this: acknowledge the obvious. Just acknowledge the obvious. I even mentioned that from the stage as we tried to figure out what was going on. And I know that moments like this kind of make the congregation nervous. But for me, as long as those moments are short-lived, they really don't bother me too much. We were back up and running, and we probably only, quote-unquote, lost 60 seconds of time. And in the conversations that I had with people after the service, it was clear God actually used that moment to remind our people that this is not a production to be observed, but rather a concert of praise where we're all in this together. And our team's ability to roll with the punches and react properly allowed the congregation to feel served and to feel led and to feel shepherded in what really could have been a very awkward moment. So let me ask you a question. How do you react when things go wrong? My guess is that if you tense up at best, or you curl up in a fetal position in the corner at worst, your reaction reveals your true and authentic self. Maybe we're not as prepared as we thought we were. Now, obviously, we can't prepare for every glitch and every mistake. And I've certainly messed up a lot of moments in worship because I just simply went brain dead and forgot what we had practiced over and over. But the way that I react in those moments reveals where my trust truly lies. One of the axioms that's mentioned in our team quite often is this: hey, look, the kingdom is still standing. I love that. Hey, look, the kingdom is still standing. It's kind of our way of acknowledging that no matter how we mess up, God's purposes will not fail. We fail, we mess up, it's going to happen. So maybe one of the best disciplines you can practice is the heart check that's necessary to make sure that your reactions indicate a trust in God more than dependence upon your own preparation and practice or talent. Paul Baloche says it this way: practice, 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 and on Sunday, be prepared to forget it all. Now, I don't think that he's saying we should aim to forget. I think he's just reminding us that things don't always work out the way that we plan, and we should be prepared for that. One more thought here. In Patrick Johnson's book, The Church is Bigger Than You Think, he says that every healthy organization needs two things: rigidity and agility. And he equates this to the human body. He says, even the human body has rigidity. We have a skeletal system where you can depend upon it, and you can kind of make out the shape of what this organism or organization is supposed to look like. And he says human body also has agility, like blood vessels, where it gets nutrients, resources from one place to another place when it's needed, where it's needed. And he says a healthy organization will be the same. Our teams need rigidity. We need a skeletal system. Consider that your personal practice, your rehearsal time, where you know what to expect and you can rely upon it. It provides that structure that you need. But our organizations also need agility, like blood vessels, where we can kind of react where the resources and efforts are needed. And sometimes those reactions or those agile moments happen because we just make mistakes, right? And we need to know how to react. Other times it's because the Holy Spirit is actually leading us in a different direction than what we had prepared. And we need to be ready and prepared to turn on a dime wherever that leading takes us. So as you prepare to lead worship, let's make sure that it's not just an act, but we're fully devoted with our whole heart. And secondly, let's do the necessary heart check to make sure that we can react to the changes with a spirit that trusts God no matter what. Hey, look, the kingdom is still standing. Just a thought for you this week.